Hey folks, and welcome to another exciting episode of a Teal journey. This time I have, well, no hair. So it was falling out and it was starting to itch when it fell into my shirt collar, and I decided, well, before it becomes too much of a problem, I'm going to just shave it off and not deal with it falling everywhere. So that was what I decided to do, and now I have a collection of beanies to cover up my bald head. So that's what I decided to do. It took about 2 weeks after the first chemo for it to really start falling out. It was nice. I cut it really short a few days ago and got to see myself in a short haircut and what it would look like, and everybody loved it and I loved it too. But then it got to where I could just touch my head and get a whole bunch of hair. So rather than being at work and all of a sudden having a glob of hair fall out in the middle of the workday, I figured I would just shave it off, get it over with. And other than being a little itchy from the very short hairs, it's kind of nice, except for the whole your head gets cold thing. And of course the beanies are there for not only appearance, but to protect my head from getting sunburned and to keep it warm. So that was the week I had. I also had a CT scan this morning to verify that I had no cancer in my upper body. It found nothing remarkable other than a few expected things that I already knew about, like I have some enlargement in my liver, but that's primarily associated with diabetes. Thing where the muscles in my stretched apart a little bit, and that has to do with losing so much weight since I lost 70 pounds this year. So that should fix itself, but if not, they'll do physical therapy from what I understand. So that'll be something I discuss with the oncology doctor next week. However, nothing can ever go as planned. So today when I went for the CT, they were going to do the contrast and they were going to do it through the port. Well, the port didn't cooperate. It would flush so they could put saline through it. I could taste it, and that meant that the saline was going in, but they couldn't get any blood return. And because they couldn't get any blood return, other than like a little bit that colored the syringe pink, so they couldn't use the port. So I had to have an IV anyways, but she brought in the sonogram machine, got it just like that. So yay for that. Not yay for the port not working, because now I have to go in the morning, miss another half day of work to get the port checked out at surgery. So hopefully it was just the fact that a CT does, she was trying to access the port with me laying down, like with the regular access, which is done sitting up. So we'll see. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with the port. I really don't want to go under another surgery again right now, but I'll do what I have to do. The next chemo is next week, so today is Thursday, it'll be next Wednesday. I'll have one more weekend of feeling good, because this week I felt really good. Starting this week, it was a pretty good week. Miss any work other than for today for the CT and for tomorrow for the port check, so that's really good, and I'm glad to be back at work on a regular basis. However, next week may be a different story. I'm going to try to go to work on the Friday after chemo, but I don't know if I'll make it. It could be like last time when I was just so exhausted I could barely sit up. If that's the case, I will be staying home. I would rather take care of myself than be short a little on my paycheck than to be feeling like that at work and not getting anything done, because honestly I can't get anything done in that condition. So other than that, things have been going really well. Mild nausea with the chemo the week after, so wasn't actually as bad as I thought. The side effects were pretty limited. Did have some gastric disturbance, which is pretty common, going one way then the other and then back. It's just a constant thing dealing with your stomach with chemo. So, and then headaches a little bit, muscle aches a little, to avoid the bone pain from the shot they give you after chemo. I just take Claritin because it has to do with the histamines. So I don't know exactly how it works. They explained it, but it was something. Just Claritin helps. So I haven't really experienced any bone pain. So I don't know if that's because the Claritin's working or because I just didn't experience any. Either way, I didn't have it, so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. The shot is like a growth hormone that they do the day after, so it's just to help your body produce more white cells to prevent infection. So the interesting thing about the hair falling out, the thing that most people don't realize, is that your nose hair also comes out, which of course makes you even more susceptible to picking up illness because you don't have the filter in your nose anymore. So that is another reason that people on chemo are so susceptible to illness, as if the low white cells weren't enough, right? And of course, if you didn't know, you lose all your hair, including your eyebrows, your eyelashes, underarm hair, everything. So, and yes, that includes, so yeah, all of it falls out. So that's fun. Some people have, like, some of it doesn't grow back. Like, I have a friend who never got, which, cool. I don't care either way, so it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to finding out if I have chemo curls when I get it back. If you don't know what chemo curls are, a lot of people who have had chemo, when their hair comes back, it's curly. No idea why, but it's just a very typical thing that happens, and I'm excited to see if my super straight hair comes back in curls. I think it'll be cool to see myself with curls for the first time, other than, like, as a kid when my mom used to take me for perms. So, you know, there's that to look forward to. And also, sometimes it comes back a different color, sometimes a different texture, weight, all kinds of stuff can happen to your hair. So, it's kind of like a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get. So, we'll see what happens. Should be interesting. Really, that's about all I had today. Continue to start to remind people that they need to keep up with their cancerous screenings. They're really important, and I know it sucks. I know nobody likes them, but if you don't do it and you end up with cancer, you're going to regret it. Even though I did all the pre-cancer screenings and did everything I needed to do, I still ended up with cancer. And the good thing is, though, because of that screenings and everything that I have had, it was caught early. Even if I hadn't ended up in the ER, it would have been caught in February when I went to my regular gynecologic appointment. So keep up with the screenings, especially if you have ovaries. They are very silent. They'll kill you, as mine did. So watch out for it. And I think there is a huge discrepancy in the whole cancer community that everybody knows about pink. Everybody knows about breast cancer awareness and everything like that. Unfortunately, that is the only cancer that is universally recognized as being something everybody knows about. Not enough people know about other types of cancer, and not just ovarian. Ovarian is one of many, and nobody, when they see a teal ribbon, is going to know, oh, that's ovarian cancer, unless they've been through it or know somebody that's been through it. But everybody knows what a pink ribbon is. So one of the things we often say is that not all cancer is pink, because it's not. A lot of us out here are fighting the fight, and we don't get the recognition that breast cancer awareness gets. And I think that's a real problem, because that's one type of cancer. I find it interesting that the best known cancers are all reproductive cancers, or breast cancer, which is secondary sex hormone driven cancer. So, just in your awareness, think about how there are other cancers out there that, yes, all the awareness about breast cancer is extremely important. It is a real big problem in populations that have breasts, and even men who have breast tissue, which all men have breast tissue, including cis men, and it can happen to cis men. And it's very, very important to have that awareness of what to do. However, there's a discrepancy between the fact that we all know about breast cancer, how to prevent it, how to check for it, and everything, but I had no idea what the signs of ovarian cancer were before I had it. I had no clue. No idea what to look for. Didn't think anything of the things that have been happening to me. Since I lost so much weight, I just attributed it to the Zepbound that I was on. However, looking back now, I lost weight very rapidly, and I'm wondering how much of that was cancer and how much of it was actually the Zepbound. Because without the cancer, I haven't dropped weight nearly as fast. I'm not sure, but of course I haven't really been focusing on weight loss right now. It's kind of important to get calories whenever you're going through chemo, because you don't want any problems with nutrition. And of course, with all the nausea, sometimes you just eat what you can, which for me is crunchy, salty things settle my stomach, which includes like crackers. So I guess that's good. But anyways, as far as the ovarian cancer and other cancers go, just don't forget they exist and get checked for everything. And it is my recommendation that everybody know what symptoms could indicate another type of cancer. What symptoms are from pancreatic cancer? What symptoms are from lymphoma? What symptoms do you need to watch out for? Just be aware. There's just not enough awareness for other types of cancer out there. So, I know it sounds weird to say not all cancer is pink, but it's just there's such a huge commercial push, and there's a lot of companies that are pink washing things to sell you stuff where the proceeds don't benefit cancer. They're just selling it to benefit themselves. And that's just a fact whenever you're in a capitalistic society, that people are going to take advantage of it. Yeah, sure, some of them are benefit cancer research, which is great, but we also need to expand that to other cancer research, not just breast cancer. Yes, the cancer research for breast cancer is really important. I don't want to see the breast cancer awareness lessen. Don't mistake me on that. I think it's good, it's exactly what we need, but we also need it for other types of cancer. We need that kind of awareness, that kind of push, that kind of letting people know what they need to look for with a bunch of other cancers that are really prominent and need to be checked out. I mean, colorectal cancer is another one that people know they need to get a colonoscopy, but how many people do? Them, if you were over the age of 45, which I had my first one actually right the month before I found out about Bob, the mass in my ovary, and it wasn't that bad. The prep sucks. I mean, honestly, I had to do Go Lightly, which I'm going to ask for something else after that, because Go Lightly is horrible. Tastes like drinking straight salt water. Almost ruined Gatorade for me because I used Gatorade flavoring packets that were white. Helped a little, but that was awful. But, they found nothing and told me I needed to come back in 10 years. So, I mean, that was good. I don't know, I may need more frequent ones now that I've had a type of cancer, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, awareness is the big thing right now. Just learn about cancer. Not because you're being morbid, but just because it's a good idea to know. And that's a big deal. All right, folks, thank you for joining me for another episode of A Teal Journey, and I will see you after chemo number 2.